The CB radio has been dead for 3 hours. No truckers, no chatter, just the hiss between stations. So when it clicks at 3:14 in the morning, I lean toward it out of habit. A voice comes through, slow and close. It says my name. Then it says, "You should lock the back office door." I'm the only person at this rest stop for 11 miles. My name is Danny. Back then, I ran the overnight desk at a state rest stop off Route 6, the kind of place with vending machines, a bathroom that echoes, and a little office where the attendant sits so people feel safer stopping at 3 a.m. Most nights I saw maybe 4 cars. Some nights I saw none. The CB radio wasn't even mine. It came with the desk, bolted there since the 80s, back when truckers actually used them. My manager told me to leave it on, low, in case a driver called in about ice or an accident. In 8 months, it had crackled at me exactly twice. So when it said my name, I didn't move for a long time. Danny, calm, patient, like it had all night. "You should lock the back office door." I want to tell you I laughed it off. I didn't. Because the back office door was a detail nobody outside that building would know. It's not on a sign. It's a gray door behind the vending alcove that even the day staff forget about. My hand was already reaching for the mic before I stopped myself. "Who is this?" I said. I didn't key the mic. I just set it to the room. The radio answered anyway. Someone came in with the last car. They didn't leave. I looked at the monitor. We had one old security camera pointed at the lot, black and white, more snow than picture. The lot was empty, but at the far edge of the frame, where the light gave out, there was a shape that hadn't been there an hour ago. Tall, not moving. I told myself it was a trash can. Then the vending machine in the hall dropped a can. On its own. I heard it roll and stop against the wall. And the voice on the radio said, "Quieter now. He's checking the machines first. He always does the machines first." I did the thing the voice told me. I don't know why. Maybe because it was the only voice being kind to me. I went to the gray door behind the vending alcove and I locked it. The bolt was stiff, like it hadn't been thrown in years. It clicked home just as something on the other side of it stopped walking. I stood there with my hand flat on the metal. On the other side, someone breathed. Not a monster's breath. A person's. Slow, through the nose, the way you breathe when you're listening for someone listening for you. The radio clicked one more time. The voice said, "Good. Now don't answer it, no matter what it uses to sound like me." I spent the next 2 hours in that office with the lights off. The first knock came maybe 20 minutes later, soft, friendly, a little shave and a haircut rhythm, the kind of knock a neighbor gives. I didn't move. It came again, the same cheerful pattern, and then a voice, muffled through the metal, said, "Danny, it's me. The guy on the radio, you can open up now." It was the same voice. Exactly the same. Calm and patient and kind. But the radio voice had told me it would do this. So I sat on the floor with my back against the desk and I watched the little strip of hallway light under the door, and I waited. Around for the knocking changed. It stopped being friendly. It came in slow, spaced-out thuds, low on the door, near the floor, like something was sitting down against the other side and hitting the metal with the flat of its hand. Not trying to get in anymore. Just letting me know it was still there. Twice more the kind voice begged me to open it, and once it stopped begging and just breathed, wet and close, right at the seam of the door. I didn't answer. At 5:40 the sun came up and the thudding stopped and the shape at the edge of the lot was gone. The strange part, the part one still can't file away, is that when the state tech came to service the CB the next week, he told me it hadn't worked in years. The transmitter was dead. It could receive nothing and send nothing. He pulled it out and showed me the corroded guts of it. I never told him it had saved my life. I just watched him carry it out to his truck, and I thought about the fact that something had used a dead radio to warn me, and something else had used it to lie. That was the night I stopped trusting empty parking lots. But it wasn't the emptiest the lot ever got. There were 19 parking spaces at that rest stop. I know the number because on dead nights I counted them on the monitor, twice, just to have something to do. 19 empty spaces at 3 a.m. is a kind of company. One night in October, I counted them and got 19 empty. I looked away to write the log. I looked back and counted again out of habit, and this time space 9 had a truck in it. I never heard it pull in. And you hear everything at that rest stop. The tires on the gravel apron, the air brakes, the door. I heard none of it. The truck was just there, a long dark rig with no running lights, sitting dead center in space 9 like it had always been parked. I waited for the driver to come in. That's the rhythm. They park, they stretch, They use the bathroom. They buy something orange and terrible from the machine. They nod at me. They leave. Nobody came in. After 20 minutes, I did something I'd never done before. I went out to check on it. Company policy, I told myself. Make sure the driver's okay, not slumped over, not in trouble. The closer I got, the more wrong it looked. No plates. No company name on the door. The paint was old and sun-faded, even though the rest of it looked new, like two different trucks welded together. And the cab windows were black, not tinted, black, like they'd been painted from the inside. Halfway across the lot I stopped, because I realized the truck was warm. I could feel it from 10 feet away, the way you feel a parked car that's been running all day in July. But it was October and cold, and there was frost starting on the gravel, except in a wide ring around that truck, where the ground was bare and dark and wet, like the frost couldn't get near it. No exhaust, no engine ticking as it cooled, just heat coming off a machine that hadn't moved and wasn't running. I should have turned around right there. I want you to know that some part of me knew. But there's a thing that happens to you on the night shift, where the boredom is so total that even fear feels like something to do. So I kept walking. I knocked on the driver's door. I don't know what I expected. What I got was a sound from inside the cab, a shift of weight, the seat creaking, like someone big had just leaned toward the glass to hear me better. I stepped back, and on the black glass, low down near the door handle, I saw a smear where a hand had wiped at it from the inside. Fingers dragging down. Recent. I walked back to the office not running, because I had the animal sense that running would start something. I locked the office door. I sat down, and I watched Space 9 on the monitor for the rest of my shift, and the truck watched me back, and neither of us moved. When the morning attendant showed up at 6, I walked her to the window to show her the truck. Space 9 was empty. 19 empty spaces. She looked at me the way you look at someone who's been up too long. But there was a set of gravel tracks leading into Space 9, and none leading out. I told myself I'd quit if it happened one more time. It happened one more time. My last night, it rained. That helped. Actually, rain gives an empty place something to do. Around 2, a car pulled in. A normal car, a gray sedan, and a woman got out and ran through the rain to the building holding her jacket over her head. She was maybe 40, soaked, shaking. She asked if she could sit inside for a while. Of course, I said. I got her a coffee from the machine. She wrapped both hands around it and didn't drink it. There's a car following me, she said. Since the state line. It stays back. When I speed up, it speeds up. When I stopped for gas, it parked across the street and turned its lights off. I looked out at the lot. Her gray sedan. The rain. Nothing else. I told her that gently. It's not there yet, she said. It waits. It lets me think I lost it. Then it's just there. We sat. I'll be honest, I half thought she was having some kind of breakdown. But she was so specific. She said the car never had its high beams on. Only the parking lights, 2 little amber dots. She said the driver never got out. She said once, at a red light. She'd looked in her mirror, and the car behind her had no one in the driver's seat, and the wheel had been turning anyway. Around 3 the rain eased. She stood up to leave, calmer, embarrassed, thanking me. I walked her to the door. Out in the lot, next to her gray sedan, there was a second car. Dark. Parked close. 2 amber parking lights glowing, low and steady. No high beams. No engine sound. And no one in the driver's seat. She didn't scream. That's what I remember. She just made a small sound, like something she'd been carrying for 3 states had finally caught up, and she said, very quietly, "Don't watch. If you watch, it'll know you can see it too." I stepped back inside and I turned around and faced the wall, like a child, and I stood there listening to the rain. When I finally looked, both cars were gone. Hers and the other one. No tire tracks in the wet lot. No coffee cup on the chair, though I'd watched her hold it for an hour. I didn't finish the shift. I left the lights on, the door unlocked, and I drove home in the dark checking my mirror the whole way for 2 little amber dots. I don't work nights anymore. But sometimes, when the highway's quiet and the static rises between stations, I still listen for my name. If you made it this far, subscribe. New stories every night.